Yeah, too true. I hope it's these three maps. Looks like he just needs to update the scoreboard, and we'll be ready to go in just a moment. Someone sling Robo some new batteries, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe he's gone on strike. Maybe he wants saying like, I want $5 an hour.
The Robo Union at it again. Of one.
There you
the
go.
union of one.
Well, he's fixed it now, so no more hate. Let's get Suomi versus SY underway here. Game 1 coming up in just a moment. We'll be on Steppe. Interesting that we get Steppe and Twin Puddles again. And, you know, I'd like to see Salt Marsh, because Salt Marsh is a map which used to be considered very uncompetitive. It used to be considered to be a bit of an unbalanced map, but it's been fixed, and no one's really played on it much since it's been fixed. So, looking forward to that.
I don't know about you, Zach, but I've played some Salt Marsh and some mostly FFAs, but I think it's viable experience.
Are you sure you weren't just playing a map called Marsh and then you just got very salty?
No. I mean, I did get very salty because it's FFA, but other than that, it was definitely Salt Marsh. But that's not until potentially the next game, I believe. But you have spawning in. This is going to drive me crazy.
Well, wait, just a second. My game crashed, so I had to restart the game, but I'm in now. So we might be a little bit out of sync for a couple of seconds here. We'll see. But go ahead. Take it away.
Oh, okay. Anyway, we'll have the Max in the purple as the Chinese here to the north of the map for Team Suomi. His teammate in his normal orange, so at least one of them have their normal colors. But it will be Valesa as the Mongols here to the west. And their opponents will be SY, number 2 in the rankings right now. Incredibly strong team. It will be Shuainu, also known as Yinghua. Over here in the blue is the Chinese to the south. And finally, the legend himself, not just any Yo, but the Yo in the cyan as the Mongols.
I'm waiting for him to upgrade his name. It used to be Mr. Yo, then it was just Yo, and now it's the Yo, and I'm waiting for it to become the Yo 27. Just waiting for that upgrade. That's going to happen eventually.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, keep in mind the underscores as well. I mean, look at that. Max and Yo, Mr. Yo, both putting underscores before and after their names. That's some extra power right there.
Yeah, I think Yo actually changed his name to be like the Max, or like, as a shout out to Max, because, at first I thought it was to Viper, because, Yo and Viper go way back. But Viper is just the Viper. There aren't any underscores involved, whereas Max has obviously the underscores and the capitalization similarities.
You're right, actually. And would you believe what color he's playing in right now?
Exactly.
I think Mr. Yo is onto something. I think so as well. I mean, he's taken teal. He's changed his name to match the Max's style. Maybe he's figured something out that we haven't quite figured out yet, but maybe that's going to bring Mr. Yo some energy here. Maybe you need to send Max your energy, because he's currently sitting on purple pink over here and he doesn't know what's going on. Who is this imposter, the Yo?
It's an identity crisis right now. The Max is like, what is this mode? Why is there no pocket involved? Why can I not play as it? Error.
Yeah, Max isn't sure what's going on, but he does know that he's just killed Mr. Yo's horse as he ran into the TC. It's an easy thing to happen, actually. More often than not, you'll see players running into the TCs, because the horse only has 2 line of sight, so it's very easy to, not pay attention for a second and, oh, look, there's an enemy TC and you're dead. Also 50 HP and no armor, so we'll die pretty quickly.
It happens to do with Scout Cavalry, though. It still doesn't explain that part of just running them into the TC all the time, but maybe that's just me.
I think that might just be you.
Aww.
Pro players running scouts into TCs never happens. Stiff didn't happen in game 1 today.
Nope.
with Miguel. Didn't happen at all. But anyway, Valesa, look at that. Feudal time. 16 population.
That's pretty crazy.
That's insane. That is very fast. He's going out now to get some more deer. He's milled the deer at the top. He's going to be taking the deer in the south as well. Might even be long distance gathering those. I wouldn't know. He will build a mill as well there. That is some rapid feudal time. And of course, he's against the Chinese of Shuai Yu here. So we'll see what he can do with his super fast scouts. Of course, Mr. Yo will be up second, the other Mongol player. Please note there are no Mayans in this game, and so these guys are going to be really testing their mettle and their pure skill. No civilization advantage or disadvantage on the table.
No Mayans were used in the making of this game, but
Not this time.
not this time. So yeah, I think that this is going to be all about the aggression. I mean, that is such a fast uptime for Velesa.
Yeah,
Actually,
I can't remember the last time I saw something quite as fast as that. That's
I
really
actually
fast.
I got you. Streaming 2 days ago, and actually Viper went up on 16 Papa's Koreans for a tower rush. So
Okay, well that's a tower rush. We're talking about scouts here, but you know it's not like this is impossibly difficult. He does already have 350 food in the bank. He's still taking more deer and obviously taking advantage of that hunt bonus. And that stable is up with 3 villagers powering down that stable as the 2 scouts start to be queued up here. And while Shuainu is not messing around either. Walls, yes, check. They're already walling up the left side, and the right side's very open still, but he's going to do everything he can to protect those villagers on the stone, on the gold there.
yeah, definitely. I mean, this is a Chinese team we're talking about. They enjoy their walls, and it's kind of hard to blame them considering how much success both SY and Frantic have had in ECL so far. But obviously, going to be earliest aggression coming out here from Velesa, though Yo is not going to be too far behind in that. And I think we should just be looking at total mirrors on both sides, as both of the Chinese Civ players are just going for their archery ranges.
That is true. Obviously, Shuainu with a spearman here as well, just to make sure, of course, that he can defend from those early scouts. The question is now, does Velesa keep trying to go onto Shuainu, or does he come over and link up with Max on the right side? I guess that's where the communication comes into play. What information are they hearing from their teammates, and whether or not they figure out, okay, probably need to come over this side, or whether or not he can keep going on the left. And it looks like the left side's pretty solid for him as he drops a tower on that gold as well. I like that. A villager going down. Second villager going down.
I was just, you know, while you were talking there, I was just watching this tower go up from Velesa, just totally uncontested. I switched over to Shridu's POV because I'm like, does he not see it? No, he saw it. Well, like, he had vision of it, rather, but he just didn't do anything about it.
Okay,
He's
well.
not until it's too late.
That is surprising. I thought he would have reacted a little faster. Maybe he didn't have the wood because he built the archery range. But Shriny right now, economy, I'm saying maybe he didn't have the wood. He's got 450 wood in the bank. His eco's very, very heavy on the wood, as expected for the Chinese player. But since he's pushed off the gold, you know, he's idled the archery range a little bit. His second range is coming up a lot later. Look at the development of Shuainu right now and compare that to Max. Max already has his second range up, but he is still under a lot of pressure from the scouts of Yo, although it doesn't look like Yo has done any damage yet with 0 kills on the board for the time being.
Yeah, it's kind of rough right now, I think, for SY. I think Yo's going to want to find some damage done here. The Max is, I mean, I was about to say potentially out of position, but he now has fletching, he has the spearman, and of course he has the support of his teammate who already has that most beautiful of text bloodlines, whereas Yo does not. So this is just not something that I think SY can take right now, and I think we're going to see Suomi actually press their advantage for once in their lives, and I like it.
Well, they're certainly going to do it now as they catch Schweiner's army out in the open. The spearman doesn't take down any of the scouts, but it looks like Velesa will lose 1 scout total to the archers there. Pretty poor start for the SY team at the moment. We'll see if Mr. Yo can possibly catch this army from the Max, but of course with Velesa's scouts in tow, I don't think he'll want to turn around and fight there either. So Shrine trying to wall up. He does take down the tower with his own tower. It doesn't look like Velesa really wanted to pressure that any further and keep his tower up. He's happy to put the tower down and retreat back with the villagers to get back to gathering more deer, as at the moment he's just going all over the map, taking all the deer spots, and even adding a second stable now as his food income looks to be secure. And he wants to just keep pushing with the scouts, it seems. For now, it's only 1 stable for Mr. Yo, so we could see SY getting outnumbered quite quickly, and we could see a quick swing in the favor of the favor of the Suomi team right here.
Yeah, definitely. We see Max and Velesa wandering towards the base of Yo. Yo does look to be fairly well defended at home. Woodline totally secure with walls and a tower. It's forced off of the gold for the time being, but I don't really see Yo losing much here. Nice control on the villagers, moving them away from the archers.
Yeah, I think that's good. You know, preemptive towers in the wood line on this map, I think that's kind of important. He's grabbing quite a bit of stone as well, so he can keep adding more towers if necessary. And I think that, you know, if you can't wall up very easily, then towers are your next best option, so it's good to see him do that. We will see, though, Villessa moving around the north side, leaving the Max alone and costing Max, well, probably his whole army, actually, as Villessa now takes some spearman shots to the face. That's not a good engagement from the Suomi team. They get split up and they get caught out.
Yeah,
Uncharacteristic of them, actually, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And the whole thing we were talking about, all of the last game on Step, was that you really want to be able to keep your armies together on this map because it's so open, and you need someone going for archers because they just represent way too much damage at range, preventing stuff like walling. But you can't leave the archers all alone. They're really slow and they're really vulnerable if they're caught out in the open. So I feel like you just have to like glue your scouts to your archers and making sure that they don't die like that.
Absolutely. So Schweinu on the left side, sending some archers around the back as well. We do see the tower coming up here from Villessa as well. Should be fine if he moves those archers over to the right. Good timing on the tower. At the moment, though, Villessa and the Max still solid score lead as they do group up once again and find a few villagers there. That's 4 villagers down before they can even make it back to the tower. And it's good to see that they've actually kept their armies together there.
Yeah, I mean, I still really do think that. Actually, I was about to say that I really like the position of Suomi, but did Villessa lose a ton of villagers that I missed somewhere? Because why is his villager count so low? He's like 5 to 6 villagers behind.
It's interesting, isn't it? He's only lost 6 units, and I'm fairly certain that he's not lost that many vills. He may have lost some on the front at some point, but right now, you know, he's still got 8 villagers out here gathering the deer, so I'm doubtful, actually. I think maybe he's had a bit of idle time, perhaps? I'm struggling to figure out that as well. 6 villagers behind is considerable.
He lost 2 villagers on stone, but that still doesn't explain why you'd have like 4 or 5 villagers of idle time. So that's obviously not ideal. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer, but the Max is up on the way to the Castle Age. This guy's macro is never, ever flawed. So yeah, first up to Castle Age, not too far behind, but I think the Max should be in a really nice position. Really hasn't taken much damage at all this game.
No, and he's even got some double walls on the left side with palisades and houses, so he's nice and secure in there as well. He's not wasted any stone on building unnecessary towers, so he's going to be still sitting on 200 stone when he reaches the Castle Age, so obviously he wants to boom. Meanwhile, a fight breaking out in the middle of the map. Schweinu and Yo coming together there to take this army of Suomi on. It looks like they'll be pretty successful as well. Wait, sorry, I've got the wrong team there. It looks like they won't be successful. It will be the Max and Villessa winning out on that one. So I was kind of getting distracted by checking the upgrades. They were evenly upgraded. But Max and Villessa, just keeping that military advantage from the very start, will just once again clean them up.
Yeah, that was a really weird fight for Schweinu because he really didn't micro. Like, on a scale of micro to not micro, he just didn't. He just let the archers stand there, and the Max just microed them down and just killed them all before the scouts could even arrive from Yo. So that was kind of weird. But yeah.
Oh, sorry. This is interesting. Look at Max. Monastery University.
Is this a fast imp?
This has got to be some kind of fast Imperial play with Arbs, right? Like, just crossbow Bodkin now. I mean, maybe he's just gonna he's just gonna do monks then. I was gonna say, like, it's kind of would be very strange to do a raw fast imp, but maybe it could work out. I mean, maybe he's just gonna go for ballistics and make some monks to get some conversions on knights. He could do that equally, but he does have so much on gold, and I'm wondering if he's actually gonna try and pull that off.
I don't think so. He has a second TC on the way.
He does? Okay, yeah. No problem. All right.
I think...
I see it, yeah.
Yeah, I think the reason behind this line of play for Max is, like, he's thinking, okay, my biggest threat this game is Yo, because we've done a lot of damage to Schweinu. So, got to make sure you get the monastery out, get some monks in case you just get overwhelmed with knights, especially if maybe you didn't catch that Shrine was maybe slinging at this point. And then from there, you can just get ballistics and then boom on out.
Yeah, I mean, ballistics is coming in now, +2 defense as well. So yeah, you're absolutely right. It won't be a fast imp. I mean, I think he could have even pulled that off, but it's probably a little bit too risky. And at the moment, having ballistics is a huge boost as well. If you can catch some knights out from Mr. Yo, for example, would be huge. Vilesa, on the other hand, starting to make his knights as well. Schweini is really struggling to get his military count up this game. Look at the difference between Max and Schweini, both the archer players. Max up to 34 crossbow, Schweini on 12. Just struggling to get the numbers up and keep them up.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And Yo, yes, he does have a few less knights than his opponent, but he's like 10 villagers ahead. So it's, forgivable, I guess you could say. As Velez is just now getting his second TC down by the looks of things, whereas Yo is already working off of 2. So yeah, it's going to be, I think, just really the Max powering up in terms of, well, population. Velez playing more of a supporting role at this point, but if we can see the Max and Blessed get some damage done here, which I think is totally a possibility, because as you're saying, Shiny doesn't really have many crossbows, this could be really rough for SY.
Yeah, absolutely. And we do see a Siege Workshop from Mr. Yo here. No Mangonel just yet, but he can produce one if he needs to try and defend. And I think that might be necessary, as you say, Max has the most crossbow. I wonder if they'll just try and focus on Shrinu, though, at the moment. I do wonder where they're going to go now, because they are between the two players at the moment, looking to keep their armies together and push one player into a 2v1 situation. Max, meanwhile, I imagine he's going to go for his third TC reasonably soon, or alternatively still go for that faster Imperial time. I do feel like that's got to be on the cards here, because he's got such a large military with 44 army already. If he gets those up to Arbalest and gets Bracer, they will be able to very easily take any fight they want any day of the week.
Yeah, certainly. The Max did have a couple monks picked off for free by Yo, which is obviously not the greatest. But I'm totally with you. I think that a quick Imperial Age and then adding in maybe some Siege Rams for a quick classic Arbalest plus Siege Ram push might just knock SY out of this game potentially. Yes, here we go. The Max clicking up to the Imperial Age 28:48.
Yeah,
Not
nice.
like, 1 TC fast imp time, but still quite fast. And yeah, I think that there's not really going to be an opportunity for Yo and Schweinu to get some damage done before Max gets up to imp.
Yeah, that's scary, isn't it? 43 Arbalest and with Bracer about to barrel down onto one of these players, probably Mr. Yo, I assume, since they're grouping up on the right side and pushing out now. Interesting to see this sort of fast imp from Max. I say fast imp, it's not a fast imp per se, but it's faster than you'd expect, because normally he's the guy making knights, camels, and doing a 40C mega boom, but he's actually going up on 68 population now. And, well, they're probably seeing this and thinking, oh god, what are we going to do against that? Shiny is like, I'm on the way over, don't worry, I've got my 29 crossbow, and Max is sitting on 48. There is a Mangonel, there's always a potential for a big mango shot, but that has to happen, I think, before the Imperial Age comes in, because once those Arbalest with Bracer, they'll pick off that Mangonel very quickly.
Yeah, certainly.
Wow, that was a big shot, though.
Oh, well, that's a beginning if you're SY. You need a few more shots like that. Did kill around 6 or 7 crossbows right there and doing plenty of damage to others. And, well, to be fair, Schweinu's crossbow count is getting up there. It's not still anywhere near his counterpart in the maxes, but it's getting there. So they do have to be cautious in Suomi, but Blessa does have some better upgrades on his knights. Max about to get Thumb Ring as well. And, well, Imperial Age is going to be in like 15 seconds. So, yeah, should be, I think, a good opportunity here.
Don't you think it's amazing how Max still has the most villages in the game, even though he's only doing a 2 TC boom?
Yeah.
As opposed to 3, which Mr. Yo is on 3, and Schweinu is on 3. Just classic Max things, really, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we talked about it a little bit on the podcast, but in that amazing Suomi versus Secret game in the last ECL stage, the Max had like almost perfect macro. like it was insane. Like the dude had almost no idle TC time until he had like 120 plus villagers, and then almost no idle villager time. It was like insane. This dude's macro is
It
like
just
out of
cannot
this
be better
world.
than that, can it? I mean, that's like
Yeah.
peak performance. Chemistry, Ring Art Drama, Bracer and Arbalest about to be completed. And the 2v1 onto Mr. Yo coming in. Mr. Yo rushing up a castle here, though. That could buy him some time, but I think that they would just come around the other side in that case. We'll see. As the castle is halfway complete, I think they will have to break through and go into his base in another direction, because I don't think they can stop that castle now. It's going to happen. Shriner is coming in, but this is going to be dangerous. I can't believe they're fighting under the castle here now. You might want to back up a little bit.
Actually, the castle wasn't in range because it doesn't have even fletching. So,
oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, fletching is important. Also, the Max is dropping a castle right in Yo's face. So,
Wow, like it.
they want to win this game. This is a get out my game castle if it finishes. So yeah, you can tell that Suomi wanting to go for the throat, go for the kill here, which I really like, because they're always so passive. They're always trying to fall back and boom up more. But I really like this much more decisive play.
Just a note here. I think this is exactly what the Heresy team should have done last game.
Yes.
If Heresy had played this way last game, I think they would have won. With getting your well, it was actually would have been the Mongol player, I think, to come forward and drop a castle and do a fast imp, or either of them would have been fantastic. But anyway, we're seeing this now with the Max and Valessa. The Trebs coming out immediately. We've got capped rams completed. We're going to have siege ram fairly soon once he gets to 1,000 food. Max coming in here with 62 Arbalest, and well, Mr. Schweinu not in the Imperial Age just yet. He's starting to make skirms and Chuko Nu back at home. He's a long way away from Mr. Yo, and wow, another castle from Max just in range of that TC there. That's how you intimidate your opponents.
Yeah, if the first castle was a get out my game castle, the second castle is a please, seriously, I have I'm hungry,
Yeah.
I want to eat dinner. Please just hit the resign button.
The second one is, why did the first one not make you resign?
Yeah, exactly.
Why are you still here? The TC going down. They just can't even get close at the moment. We're still waiting for Schweini to finish Bracer and Arbalest. Meanwhile, Max's Arbalest are fully upgraded. The TC's gone. Mr. Yo is just going down.
Yeah, Yo is going down with his TC right now, and even if Arbalest comes in, it's still worse upgrades than the Max. Yes, Valessa's still in the Castle Age, but it's not like he's, working off of no economy. In fact, he's working off of, I believe, 5 town centers, so he's fine. And yeah, Treb's just obvious Treb advantage for the Maxes. He was in the Imperial Age eons before anyone else, and as soon as siege rams get added into the mix, I don't really see a way out here for SY.
Yep, the siege rams are going to be huge as well, because Schweinu is too far behind. I mean, he doesn't even have Bracer and Chemistry yet. They're only just being upgraded. How on earth is he going to deal with siege rams in front of this army of Arbalest from Max? I think the short answer is he just doesn't. They are trying their best to fortify this right side with castles and such. But that castle there is gone. Mr. Yo now housed at 90 out of... well, 100 out of 95. If
he got the Nomads tech, he would have been fine right now.
Well, is that yeah, that's the Castle Age tech, but
yeah,
I think he's got better things to spend his resources on, to be honest.
I disagree. Most important tech in the game. Oh man, but yeah, this game is...
Well, Mr. Yo's just thrown away all of his knights there. A bit of an uncoordinated push from those guys, and with the Rams now in the front line for the Max, I imagine Schweinu will lose most of everything as well. I just think it's over. It's done. I can't see how Mr. Yo and Schweinu will stabilize from this position. Max has just put a hole straight in the middle of Mr. Yo's base. The Rams there doing what the Rams were made to do, as Max will clean up most, if not all, of Schweinu's army here. It's a massacre.
Yeah. It's proving that, in case anyone was wondering if they were not Chinese players, yes, Yo and Schweinu are both Chinese players. They just don't like resigning until they have like no pop left.
man. What an absolute beast. 132 kills to 50 deaths. Max is on a rampage at the moment. Nothing will stop him. Nobody can stand in his way. Left side, it looks like Veles is doubly walling up here. They're starting trade now as well, getting that going nice and early. Obviously, you can never be sure of a victory, even if you're this far ahead. Until Schweinu and Yo resign, it's not over. And so, yes, they will set up trade. They will start digging in for the long game. Even if it looks like the writing's on the wall, until the good game is called, they will continue to play on as if everything is still to play for. And it is. Mr. Yo here, holding on as best he can. Blast Furnace coming in. It's going to be, once again, that classic Mongol cavalry to go against the mass arbalest. Or, well, in this case, no plumed archers, but man,
it's Chukonu instead. It's not exactly better.
No, not better by any means. Vilesa's been pretty quiet, I'd say. What's he up to these days?
Well, he's been pretty quiet because he was so aggressive in the Castle Age in terms of just focusing on the knights over economy. That's when he went for a 5 TC boom, which is why he's been quiet, and now he is at 130 villagers. And in the Imperial Age's Mongols looking into Mangudai.
Nice to see the Mangudai coming over, and yeah, he's untouched at the moment, so yep, we're going to see a lot of Mangudai coming out very soon. Elite Mangudai on the way, making that transition now. That's pretty much unstoppable, isn't it? I mean, how on earth is Mr. Yo going to get up to Mangudai here? What on earth is Mr. Yo going to do? He can make Hussar. Well, great. I have Mangudai, says Vilesa. There's nothing you're going to be able to do to stop that, I feel, at this stage. It is GG. At this point in the game, we're just waiting for Mr. Yo and Schweinu to call it. They want to hold on. They don't want to secede in game number 1. But Mr. Yo Zico is going down rapidly, and the Mangudai are now elite. I think once they see that, they will call it.
I like your optimism, Zach. I really, it puts a shining spot in my life, but yeah, I still don't see them calling it just because they see Elite Mangudai.
I thought you were going to say a Schweinuing spot. I don't know.
That would be a pretty terrible pun that I would make.
It could be, a pun for your caliber of puns. But Vilesa here, not quite enough Mangudai just yet, I guess. And they've actually lost a castle there as well. The Trebs, in the end, staying alive. And they're going to be pushing forward pretty soon with another volley of 90-kilogram projectiles firing 300 meters to take these castles down. But as soon as Vilesa gets a good number of Mangudai up, you can bet these Rams and Trebs are going to go very, very quickly. Even now with the Chuko new numbers getting up, they'll take down the Rams very quickly as well. Ouch.
Yeah. Schweinu is grabbing rocketry, so he does have fully upgraded Chukonu, whereas the Max still does miss that last tech, but it's not really that big of a deal.
But how many Chukonu does Schweinu have? I can count 5, 6, 5 now, 4 now. So
yeah.
Even with rocketry, the numbers aren't favoring him. However, got to give credit to SY because they are throwing so much at this that they're actually starting to push this back a little bit. The castles are on fire. This one on the right is going to go down. The one on the left being repaired. But it looks like they may have just gotten a little bit of a momentum swing here with all these skirms and Hussar just throwing everything into the fire, actually starting to push them back. I can't believe this is happening.
Yeah, I think this actually was a mistake from Suomi. I didn't think it would matter, but it looks like it actually may. The Chukonu and the Mangudai do the same thing effectively. Like they have the same strengths, they have the same weaknesses. So it's kind of like, okay, well, SY just made the stuff that's at least okay against Mangudai in a pinch. And it's the same stuff that's good against Chukonu in a pinch. So that's a little bit awkward. I still think that SY is in, a pretty amazing spot. Or sorry, Suomi's in a pretty amazing spot. But I think maybe it would have been a bit of a better idea for Vilesa to go for Siege instead of the Mangudai, like Siege Onagers or something.
Yeah, they have trade up, which is a big advantage at the moment because obviously SY still need to transition into trade at some point. And I say they need to. At the moment, they've just been making trash, so maybe they don't need gold at all this game. But logic should tell you that eventually enough Mangudai will be on the field for Vilesa that they'll need their own Mangudai as well, and they're starting to come over now. You can see the difference in the upgrades, as obviously Mr. Yo focused on getting those Hussars upgraded to the max first. And speaking of the max, he's doing rocketry right now, so these Elite Chuko Nu will be fully upgraded as they come in for yet another engagement here. Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with Mr. Yo and Shrinu, how they've managed to pull that back and just throw everything at it, but I feel like they should be losing these fights now.
Probably. I think especially with rocketry done, the Chuko Nu are a lot better against the skirmishers, just because they can really punch through that pierce armor just a bit better. Actually, no, rocketry is not done. Castle died.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No,
Max
I'm not.
lost it. Oh my goodness. Does Max even have a castle anymore? He's got one castle. He's only got one castle.
Wait a minute. Hold the phone. I still think Suomi should, emphasis on should, be in an unlosable position, but to be fair, I have seen Suomi lose games that they should have won.
Oh man. They really can't afford to lose this. That would just be a huge hit to their morale. They are pushing back on the left. I mean, I expected that. You know, rocketry is now done. He did build a castle at the back. But man, Max got so aggressive with those castles that when they started to lose ground, they just went down one after another.
Yeah, and not getting in any of those all-important building HP upgrades, man. Just not until it was too late.
I think they did get architecture in the end, but I think it was
He did, but
too
not
late.
until the castle started dying.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, they still are in a great position. I mean, we cannot emphasize that enough. Keep in mind, they still have trade. And you look at the difference in trade here. Max has 35, Vilesa has 27. There's 0 trade on the board. If SY start transitioning into trade, which they will have to at some point, they will suddenly lose a lot of momentum, and I think that's when the Max and Vilesa will actually start pushing back and really start gaining some ground back here.
Yeah, they are building their markets right now, so they do have that sort of long-term game plan in mind. But potentially, as you're saying, that might have already caused a bit of a slow in momentum right now, as you do see potentially a little bit of a slowdown in terms of the actual fighting. But I think that, you know, because you're saying way more gold available, and gold units win team games, it's really hard to... In the end.
I mean, we've been saying this for a long time, but, you know, look at these skirmishers from Shrinu doing work. The problem is, do they do work against siege rams? No, they don't. Not these ones. Not the Ferrari rams.
Siege rams, yeah.
Of course, the Mangudai do great bonus damage against them, but that's enough tankiness in front there for them to start taking out the skirms, and then the Mangudai will quickly follow, I believe. This should be a good engagement now for the Max and Vilesa, as my game seems to be speeding up a little bit. I'm not sure about yours.
Mine seems fine.
Okay, cool. Well, they're going to keep pushing, but now the Rams are gone. They're backing up a little bit. They need more Rams. It's just one thing after another. It's like, okay, we need Rams. All right, the Rams are gone. We need to fall back. All right, we've got Rams. Let's push. Oh, the Rams are gone. We need to fall back. And so on and so forth. But look at this. Shrinu trying to build a bunch of ranges here as they realize they are going to get overwhelmed and get pushed back. Where are they going to trade, though? Oh, look. Left side.
Yeah, I was going to say left side. You got a bunch of Rams smashing into the base of Shrinu. It has pretty much been like a one-front battle for quite some time, which is fairly surprising considering that this is, you know, a very open map. But finally see Vilesa wanting to go at least a little bit for the counterattack and maybe a potential big trade run by here from Vilesa and his elite Mangudai, already killing a ton of gold miners from the Yo.
Yes, that's huge. A lot of denied gold there, and a lot of dead villas as well for Mr. Yo. Just want to really highlight the game time right now. 58 minutes. We're slightly above the Suomi average, but that average is obviously going to start increasing if they keep having games quite this long. I'm impressed that they held on, the SY team, to be honest. And it's still not over yet, but there's certainly going to be a real challenge in getting the trade going now that there is a lot of units between the two sets of markets.
And there are soon going to be bombard towers in between the two sets of markets because the Max did research that technology. He's mining his opponent's stone. And
Oh, he
Bombard
is?
Towers are going to put a big frown face in the trade line of Suomi, and they really don't have another potential axis from which they can trade, as you do see Suomi right now in control of 3 corners of the map.
Yeah, which is really important for them. And the trade, sorry, not the trade, the Trebs at the back here from Schweinu are going to get taken down. We've got some Cavalier on the field for Max with +4 defense, using them to snipe off Siege, using them to get in there in the front lines of the skirmishers. And I do think that maybe what Max and Valessa were lacking for a long time was this cavalry. Although they don't have the best cavalry, +4 defense with Cavalier is enough to get in there and disrupt those skirms. And that's exactly what they needed, because I tell you what, those skirms, they might not be the best, but they certainly are pretty good at dealing with Chukonu and Mangadai when you don't have any gold in the bank. That's the best of the rest, you know? So Schweinu has probably been very instrumental into holding on here with these skirmishers. If you look at his KD, he's done a lot more than Mr. Yo in terms of kills. And that doesn't surprise me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, the skirmishers really have been keeping SY in this game, because, like I was saying, I think there was a little bit of overkill in terms of army composition, but that will be the GG eventually called in favor of Suomi. Really well played from them. Maybe a little bit slow and sluggish to close out the game, but ultimately they, I think, did a much better job applying pressure and kind of just trying to press their advantage, which in my opinion has always been their weakness as a team. So I really like seeing that out of them.
Yeah, completely agree. I really am impressed by SY, though. I just, the fact that they held on so long when it looked like it was completely over. Very good sort of hold from them. Very, very quick reaction to just say, like, okay, just throw all the trash at this and we'll stall for as long as we can until we can get our own units up and running. And if you look there, tech-wise, they were actually ready to fight. Like, you had Schweiner with fully upgraded Elite Chuko Nu. You had Mr. Yo with fully upgraded Mangadai. The problem that they ran into, as I highlighted a couple of times in that cast, is just the trade. You know, there's no way they could get the trade running now. They left it too late, and at that point, once they now have to start investing gold and wood into trade, they will just crumble to the superior army of Max and Valessa there. I think they played really well as well, Max and Valessa. The faster Imperial time from Max, in my opinion, is what won them that game. They got the momentum, they tried to snowball it, and it worked.
Yeah, if you check the achievements and look at the gold collected, you can see how insane it is for the Max, who was around 13,000 gold ahead of Schweinu, and
10k
15,000
trade
gold.
profit, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, no Spanish either. Just
raw trade.
just raw trade, man.
And Robo there, just forgetting to change the logo there on the overlay. That should say that Suomi won, and indeed they did. A good victory for them, making it 1-0 versus SY. Now, I just want to touch on what these games mean, because obviously these games have context. There's more to it. This isn't just a best of 3. This isn't just a single event. This has context in the bigger picture. And of course, that bigger picture are the standings. And you look at where SY are right now, they're 2 points behind Secret. They really, really, really want to win, because this is their opportunity to potentially knock Secret off that top spot. Not only that, but when you look at the brackets and you see that, just bring the brackets up there, you see Frantic are on the other side of the brackets. If Frantic beat VNA, then suddenly they're going to start closing in on to the SY team, since there's only 4 points between them as well. So super important for SY here to be able to equalize in game 2, because if they go out to Suomi in this first round, that does put them in a precarious situation in their second spot in the league here.
Yeah, certainly. And Suomi, it's, I think, equally as important for them, because after this event, it will represent the halfway point for ECL. So these teams really need to start picking up points. Like Suomi, they only had, I think, 8 points. So, a win here, you get a few more wins and you book your ticket to the finals. So this is where I think teams like Suomi and Brazucas really want to start, getting those actual tournament result wins.
Yeah, they need wins, and they need them now, because otherwise time is going to be running out. Like you say, pardon me, at the end of this event, not round, at the end of this event, the 2v2 event, that is the halfway point. So it's still possible for them to pull it back and win from this position, but they need to start doing it now. Otherwise, things might be left a little bit late. Suomi then, 1-0 versus SY as we go into game number 2 in just a moment. It's going to be twin puddles again. Like, we've got 7 maps in the pool, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot of them. Personally, I would like to see some Chaos Pit. That's one of my favorite maps ever.
Oh, yeah.
And Mount Fuji is quite interesting as well. Obviously, we've seen Step and Twin Puddles twice now. 7 maps in the pool, only 2 so far, but plenty more games to come. And if we get the draw now, we'll see Saltmarsh in game 3, which I'm looking forward to. So hopefully we get that far as we go into game number 2 right now. Orlu, I'll let you take it away.
Alrighty then. So, changing colors on me just to confuse me, but regardless, the Max will remain in the purple here for Suomi, winning the last game. Dominant showing from him to the east of the map as the Huns. Teammate sharing a puddle with him, so different orientation of players than in the last twin puddles we saw. It will be Valessa in the orange as the Japanese. And their opponent, losing the last game, looking to make the comeback, will be Schweinu in the blue as the Huns to the west of the map. And in the south, in the red, will be Yo as the Mayan.
Okay, so non-mirror matchup. We do have Huns on both teams again. That's something that we saw with the Heresy team and the BZK team. They both took Huns, but we are seeing different civs. Last time on this map, I think we saw Huns and Italians, and we saw Huns and Malians. And this time we're seeing Huns, Mayans, Huns, Japanese. Interesting decisions there. And of course, as you said, the orientation is different as well. Both teams have one private puddle, I suppose. The puddles will not be contested unless there is a sneak villager or something to try and get a dock up on the opposite side of the map.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be really hard to do. This isn't like Cross where you can see a lot of sneaky docking. I feel like it's going to be a lot to, somehow find a spot to dock your opponent's puddle, like going right through both of their bases.
Down the middle. It's going to be tough, yeah. It's possible. I've seen it happen, but, in previous events and stuff. But, I got to say, this, you mentioned Cross. That's one of my favorite maps ever. But I really like this map as well because the dynamics change depending on where the puddle is, and it's just I think it's a great team game map. It has that nice dynamic of land and water, and you see that reflected in the civ picks as well.
Yeah, I've always been a really big fan of the hybrid maps, I guess you could call them, with like you have most of the emphasis on land, so you can't just go full water, but you still have the water as an important aspect. And I think that's always creates a lot of fun, interesting dynamics, interesting civ picks. You can see a lot of different unit types, strategies, all that good stuff.
Yeah, well, we spoke about how SY really need the win here. If they want to remain in this series, they need to win this game to draw it up. And we can see Mr. Yo stealing a ball here with that Mayan Eagle Scout, bringing that in, stealing that from the Max. If there's any one player you want to steal a ball from, probably the Max. Prevent him from macroing as much as you possibly can. So he's got 3 boar under his TC right now. He will be well fed for a little while. To be honest, he'll be just fine. Max, though, I mean, it's not the end of the world. He's already taken a couple of, or a deer, and he might take more. He is also looks to be docking in the north as well, so he'll get onto some fish too. But yeah, I mean, obviously taking a boar from the Hun player. The Hun player likely to be going scouts. Of course, the Japanese teammate could also go scouts now, since the Japanese have bloodlines in the expansions, but it's more likely that the Huns will go scouts and the Japanese will go archers, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm definitely interested, and I wonder what you think of this, Zach. I mean, we know what the Mayans do. We saw it a couple games ago, that like the strengths and power of the Mayans. But what do we think of a Japanese and their potential for a fish boom on this map? How do you think that can compare to plumed archers?
Well, I do think that the fish boom, it's obviously it's very powerful, but these lakes are very small as well. There's a lot of food in here, so I don't want to say like, oh, it's not really worth it to fish boom because there's not that much fish. There's still a decent amount of fish, but it's gonna sort of run out at some point, and then all that food income is just gonna disappear. You have to start putting out fish traps and stuff.
Well, fish
However,
traps are okay.
yeah, I mean, they're okay, but it's quite a big upfront investment all at once, if you know what I mean. You sort of gradually start seeding out farms over the course of the game. But with fish traps, it's like, oh, there's no fish left. I need to spend 2,000 wood to get 20 fish traps down. But in the early game, yes, it's going to be a big power spike, I suppose. And I think that could be a good thing for them, because we've seen this before with the the Mayan players. If they are sort of overran in the early game and the momentum can sort of go against them, then that is probably the best way to approach playing them, because they're just that strong in the early imp.
Yeah, Schweinu is, I think, going for a full fish boom because he has like no villagers on food right now at his base. No second dock or anything like that, but definitely see both players on both teams actually just wanting to take as much advantage of the fish as possible. Here's a little bit of an AoE 2 factoid for you guys. Japanese fishing ships with gill nets in the post-imperial age are the fastest source of food income, or any resource income for that matter, in the entire game.
Lots of food right there, and we can actually see something interesting, I think, here. Look at Mr. Yo's walling all the way across the front. Schweinu walling across as well. Looks like these guys are set on closing this map off and just putting up a complete wall. Interesting stuff. We'll see the barracks from Schweinu coming up now, and we'll see if he decides to go with a stable blacksmith here.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, what? Another barracks. No, that was wrong. That's a stable.
Wrong button, wrong hotkey.
But yeah, they'll try and put some pressure on, I guess. But it looks like the Max and Villessa are also walled up quite nicely as well. And you see the difference in dynamics when the puddles are behind the teams rather than splitting the teams. They're much more inclined to wall up and try and fish boom.
Yeah, certainly. I think this should be good for SY, just because I feel like any time whereas the Mayans, you can just get a fairly comfortable castle age, especially when you have the power of 3 boars on your side. I mean, Mayans do, in my opinion, have the second biggest advantage after Mongols for having extra boars, because you just get all that extra meat. And yeah, just getting plumed archers just feel pretty good, right?
Yeah, I think that might be the game plan for Yo here. He's already got 4 villas on the stone. He's already got 3 villas on the gold. He's got plenty of fish. He's already got 200 gold in the bank. He's very close to clicking up to the castle age and having enough stone to build a castle immediately. Pretty safe play by any means, and perhaps we'll even see a sling from Schweinu because he's stonewalling up right now. There's a market, so I think this will be a sling.
This could be a sling from Villessa as well, actually.
Do you remember Nations Cup? Not last one, the one before, when it should have not been called Nations Cup, but it should have been called Sling the Mayans Cup.
Oh yeah,
that kind of might be what we're going to see here from the SY team.
Those were dark days. It's like bringing me back to the good old Regicide Fortress Mayan mirrors and Ghost Lake Mayan mirrors.
It's pretty fun, but it's difficult to deal with. It's fun when you're winning, right? Everyone likes to win. Populations, though, look at this. There's a little bit more fish on the water for the Suomi team. We also have the sling coming in now. Schweinu sending over to Yo. Yo will be building castles. He'll be making a lot of plumed archers. And the Max may be receiving some sling as well from Villessa here, because we see, as you said before, the walls coming up, and there's the tribute going across. So it's going to be Huns versus Mayans. Slingfest.
And I feel like this should favor Huns, right? Because Huns have the, okay, they have the potential to go for Tarkans. Most likely we're going to see the Nightline. But
you're telling me he's not going Tarkans here?
I know it's a crazy thought for someone to not go Tarkans in any given situation. But I feel like the Huns have, like, the 3 main unit lines of Huns, Knights, Cav Archers, and Tarkans, they all deal with plumed archers, at least, okay, right? So it's going to be down to the Yo getting, I think, some damage done early where plumed archers have that big advantage, and just, raw getting a ton of them out quickly. But I think as the game goes on and as more and more resources are slung over, that should be favoring the Max, right?
Well, the challenge here is that obviously they both hit Castle Age at identical times. Max has already got 2 stables. He's going to be making double stable knights immediately. Meanwhile, Mr. Yo, he needs to build a castle. Then he can start making some plumed archers. And by that point, you've already got a solid number of knights out. And you're already able to start taking fights against those smaller number of plumes. But Max is no slacker. You spoke about his insane macro. He's already adding a 2nd TC. I wouldn't be surprised if a 3rd TC is on the way fairly soon as well. And with that said, it may be even a very fast Imperial time because he's doing a monastery right now. And he's nearly got the resources to go imp as well.
He's building another town center, so he will be going up to 3 TCs. Another advantage of being Huns in this situation, making the Knight line, is that because you're spending stone as the Mayan player on your castle, it will slow down your additional TCs, as Yo doesn't even have his 2nd TC up yet.
That's
and Max
true.
is already almost up on 3.
Wait, he's added 3, yeah, of course.
Oh, is there a 3rd one for you?
Yeah, he's added the 3rd. No, Max has added the 3rd.
Yeah, I know Max has added the 3rd.
Sorry,
Yo's clicking
go ahead.
Imperial at the 18-minute mark.
Oh, yeah, so Mr. Yo's already up. Right then, no problem.
We got there in the end.
Jeez. Yeah, okay, that's a pretty fast imp. But again, I don't think Max is going to be far behind on imp either because of the huge amount of fish. Which, by the way, have nearly all gone and the fish traps already out. So
Yeah,
this is what I was saying before about the fish, right? Like how quickly they'll go and how you'll have to suddenly put fish traps down. Max's fish are all about to go idle fairly soon. I mean, I guess he'll last a little while with the fish, shore fish here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a bummer for the Max, but Valessa should be fine, I think. He's been gradually adding in fish traps, kind of like, you know, how on land you'd add in farms over time with your villagers before your natural food sources run out. So I think he should still be pretty good. And even fishing ships gathering from fish traps as Japanese with gill nets is faster than farms. So you still have a really solid food eco.
Yeah, I think you're right, actually. And he's positioned them really nicely around the docks as well. So there's very little idle time there. I like that. He's got no farms, actually, right now. And one thing I'd say favors Valessa over Schweinu is that Valessa didn't waste any time building any scouts or a stable or anything. He just went straight into the sling. So he's probably slung a little bit more resource at this stage of the game already.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. He also invested more into fishing ships, so he would have had more food to sling to his teammate, who also, you know, would make better use of the food since he is making a food-intensive unit in the night. So I think that all looks pretty good here. The Max isn't going to have a slow Imperial Age by any stretch of the imagination. 21:14 clicking up. Not what I would call a bad imp time, and it's not like, I mean, yes, Yo's in the Imperial Age, but he's not going to have like fully upgraded plumed archers in the near future, so I think Max should be okay.
Well, he is going to have Chemistry Embracer, which is usually what they would prioritize in this situation, rather than Elite Plumed Archer. He'll get Elite Plumed Archer a little bit later on, but he's going to focus first on getting those techs just to increase his damage output, starting work on the +1 defense on his plumes. He still lacks quite a few numbers. He's only got 11 military. Max already has 17. So although Max clicked up to the Imperial Age just as Yo hit the Imperial Age, it looks like Mr. Yo wants to basically impersonate Max from last game and do the get out of my game castle on Max's face, just as Max did to him in game 1.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a attempted revenge right there. And, well, both of Max's stones are forward, and that means it's going to be really tough to get his own castle. It's going to be a problem in a potential Treb war. It's going to mean he can't go for mass Tarkans if he doesn't get a castle up, which is always very sad because Tarkans would literally be the single best unit he could make right now. But yeah, definitely.
You know, Cavalier aren't so bad. If he had to, Cavalier would work as well. But yeah, I do like the idea of Tarkans, to be honest. It's just, you know, he does need the castle and is going to slow him down.
He is getting the castle up in the back of his base, actually. Cool. And it's not even like... I'm only half joking when I talk about the Tarkans, because with 4+4 Pierce armor, the Plumed Archers deal a whopping 1 damage to them. And they even get the bonus attack versus buildings to better snipe castles. But
Absolutely. I mean, obviously he'd have to get marauders, and then he'd have to make them from the stables. It's a lot slower, but they're absolutely not a terrible unit choice. I mean, if he mixes them in with Cavalier, for example, could be good. But I think Max just wants to get to Paladin and just wants to brute force his way through. I think that's generally the play.
I think that if this map was maybe a bit larger and there was a bit more of a distance, I think that Tarkins would be a bit easier to get to. But right now, the Cavalier just represent a lot of units in the right now, which is really what the Max needs, because he's getting another get out my game castle dropped on his face right now. So yeah, he's going to need to get Cavalier. He's going to need to get plate barding armor.
Yeah,
Ooh, the Cavalier is actually
done. Cavalier is about to be done. He's coming around the backside now. Quick gates from Yo. If he can surround this army, I think he can clean this up, to be honest. Depends on the damage from the castle.
+4 defense, I think he should be fine, especially with Cavalier coming in just in the nick of time.
Yeah,
I think
that's
this should
it.
be fine.
Trebs are gone. And now his own Trebs can take down the castle from Yo, so he's not going to let Yo sort of snowball this too heavily. He will take down that castle quite quickly. The second castle's going to go up as well, of course, and that's actually going to push him off the main gold, but he does have access to his gold on the right side, and obviously will still have a sling coming from his ally as well. The castle is gone already, and of course the Hun Trebs are also good Trebs as well. They're better than the Mayan Trebs with the accuracy, but in the end, I think he'll take down this second castle here, and really not losing too many Cavalier for all of that either.
This is horrible, I think, for SY right now, because yes, they're about to have fully upgraded elite plumed archers, but not only are these forward castles, they represent, the brunt of Yo's push, but they also are his unit production. And he's going to be down to 1 castle plumed archer production, which is not what you want at this point, especially compared to Hun stables. And yeah, Paladin's on the way for the Max, and that castle's going down. And this is, I think, a really dire position for SY, and they're on the brink, I think, of being eliminated in the very first round of this tournament.
That went from hero to zero very, very quickly, didn't it, actually? I mean, it looked like Mr. Yo was going to get this great push off, but as you said, I mean, the Huns or the Mayans, who would you rather receive the sling? And I think we see why here the Huns may just have taken the cake in this one. Look at these Trebs, they're going to fire on these... Oh, come on. I thought he was going to fire on the plumes. Fire on the plumes. Look at these. These plumes are asking
Switch over to Britons and get Werewolf.
Oh, he microed them.
Oh.
Well, that's funny. But yeah, if you had Werewolf, that would have been sick. But anyway, all the plumed archers pretty much going down. Of course, Max does lose some Cavalier, soon to be Paladins, and then it's Paladins versus Plumes. The Plumes have not been able to get up to solid numbers at this stage. He's at 20. He needs more like 60 right now. And with only 1 castle at home at the moment, he's just not got the production.
Remember from Miguel way back in the first series when he had like 70 plumed archers? Oh. That's sort of where you want to be right now. Actually, Miguel was also playing in red, so Yo not really able to replicate Miguel. Now that Paladin's done, it does give the unit an additional Pierce armor, which is incredibly important, as well as, of course, buffing all the rest of their stats.
Absolutely critical upgrade. I know the Paladin is extremely expensive. He could have trained a lot more Cavalier in that time, but now he's got the Paladins out. The extra armor, like you say, the additional health, it's just what he needs to make the most out of that population space, which actually, to be honest, is, quite low at the moment. 109 population. It's not that high. He's got a long way to go to get pop blocked, but he has a very, very scary, potent army to work with. And he's going to move out with his Trebs and look to take down more castles as soon as he possibly can.
Yeah, I mean, it is a fairly low pop in the grand scheme of things, but it is importantly more than his opponent. And way that, Huns versus Mayans work out is that the Hun player will have a significantly more population-efficient army than the Mayan player, who is adding in halberdiers here, which is obviously going to be a really important touch. And as far as I can tell, both of the other players are just still slinging right now, so I don't think we're going to be seeing any sort of transition out of that right now. And there's going to be, oh, there's a hole. That's a problem.
Oh, damn. There's always a hole, as we all know too well. But it looks like he'll patch that up, but not before the Paladins make it through. That's going to send the villagers of Mr. Yo flying into the TCs. Him doing his resource collection. Maybe Max is actually heading straight for Schweinu over here. He might just go straight to the Feudal Age player with about 15 Paladins and cause havoc in the blue player's base. That's probably the best thing that could happen for the Suomi team. That could be a game-ending move, actually. If he can get in there and kill a bunch of villagers from Schweinu, that's going to kill the Sling. And I think that could even just be game. If Schweinu loses all these villas now, which he will. Oh, geez.
Yeah, I mean, Yo's going to be coming in for a big counterattack, but that's not going to work. Not at all. And I just want to say that was a beautiful Paladin split from the Max. He just sent like 2 or 3 Paladins in like every possible direction to maximize their effectiveness. And he's just getting so many kills right now.
That's game over.
Oh, yeah. Zach, we're seeing the number 2 team get knocked out 2-0. Suomi's done it again. Last round, they 2-0'd Secret in the very first round. It looks like they're about to 2-0 SY.
They absolutely did, and Suomi here didn't get off to the best start in this tournament, but after taking out Secret in the last 4v4 and what seems to be now taking out SY, they're certainly opening up the field a little bit for those mid teams, you know, the AMs, what does it say, the VNAs. And the others to start working their way up the field a little bit, it seems. SY going to be pretty upset about this loss, as they were so close to overtaking Secret in the standings. And I say this loss, I mean, they haven't lost just yet. They've not called GG yet, but Schweinu's down to 29 pop. Vilesa is at 99, and just how can it not be GG from there, right?
Yeah, you can see Vilesa's already got markets established. Like, they are so ready to take this into the long run. The Max is going to be switching over into heavy cav archers. Hun heavy cav archers are going to destroy both the plumed archers and the halberdiers. So, like, that's not going to be remotely good. I mean, Mayans really just don't have even a great answer to fully upgraded Hun heavy cav archers. They're just a bit more cost or population efficient version of the plumed archer.
Yeah, now I'd like to see as well, on top of all of this, Vilesa, I think he could quite safely start switching into the Castle Age. I don't think he needs to stay feudal any longer, because the Sling from Schweinu is just going to drop off to basically nothing now. So Max will be able to just, out-produce Mr. Yo anyway with his greater economy. If Vilesa starts going castle, he could start supporting with some siege, or maybe he could even make a push onto Schweinu on land on his side as well. But anyway, Max is in once again, more villagers going down, using the maneuverability of those paladins, of course, and well, it really looks like this is going to be a GG any minute now. Of course, SY don't want to call it just yet, but writing is on the wall, if you ask me.
Yeah. It really doesn't seem that great here for SY. Vilesa is still giving so much in Sling to the Max. It's why he's able to do this big tech switch. But obviously, Yo not really able to afford much of anything right now, because he's at 58 villagers and his teammates at 27.
Yeah, it's pretty dire for them. And well, Max here, starting to switch, as you say, into this heavy cavalry archers. He's still got a few upgrades to go, and he's hoping, of course, that will help him to deal with those halberdier. On the left side, though, he's dropping down a castle on the walls of Schweinu. They're probably going to try and bust through those walls there with that castle and just finish off the blue player entirely, if he needs finishing off. We don't know if the game might be called before then. I don't know. Max here, killing off a bunch of Mr. Yo's economy as well, chasing down those plumed archers with the paladins. Mr. Yo on the front wasn't able to get much more ground either, and now, of course, does have to deal with this army in his base. This TC here with, how many villas are in there? 14 villagers? I thought maybe Max would take that down. Looks like he's just not sure what he's doing with those paladins anymore. Okay, yeah, attacking the lumber camp. Much more important target.
Destroy the lumber camp. Vilesa's clicking up to the Castle Age. Oh man, he's gonna play Age of Empires.
Oh, petards coming out from the Max.
There we go.
There you go, and that's gonna be a dead wall from Schweinu. I think Schweinu may have. I'm not sure if he's like, is he still playing? I don't know. Like, he's just gathering resources. He's just having a quick smoke break or a coffee break, as they do, and comes back to the game every couple of minutes just to sling the resources and
No,
goes
I'm
back to
checking on
his
his
coffee.
VLOG. He's definitely around.
He's doing
Okay,
stuff.
maybe
Okay,
not.
good. He's still doing stuff because Max has just gone through the wall. There's no reaction. I guess the question is, well, what reaction could he possibly make anyway? But yeah, the Paladins are in again. And
Schweidu hasn't moved his camera in like 25 to 30 seconds. He's
really?
still not moving
Okay, I'm
it.
view locking on Schweini now.
I am. That's what I've been doing. Okay, now he's back. He's playing.
But he's losing
rip.
everything. And I guess SY are just being a little stubborn here, but our blue player is going to be left with absolutely nothing in a moment. He's running those villagers to all corners of the world. The lumber camp devoid of vills. These vills down here thinking they're safe. They might have got away, but Max will not be giving up the hunt until every last villager is dead. And, well, there's more petards. I'd like to see more coming through just so we can finish off that TC. Yeah, that's it. Build a lumber camp down here. That's how you'll get back into the game, Schweini. But there you go. GG called. And oh, look, Gildet's coming in.
No! Less why? You should have gotten that like 30 minutes
Please,
ago.
no. Oh,
Wait,
man.
no, you can only get in the castle age, and you just got to the castle age. Never mind.
Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah, you're right. My bad. I guess, yeah. I thought that Valessa could have been castle age a lot earlier. Given the situation, I think he should have gone up castle probably quite a lot earlier than he did. But either way, a good victory for Suomi. And once again, Suomi will, as I suppose, I don't know if I want to call them the underdogs because they, as I said before, right at the start of the stream, they're capable of taking games from the best teams. They beat Secret last time in the 3v3s. Now they've taken out SY in the 2v2s. Is this the comeback from Suomi? Is this where Suomi starts their march up the scoreboard and back on, well, not back on top, but to try and get themselves on top?
Maybe. And I think with teams like AM, VNA, and Suomi, and even potentially Brazuca is really starting to improve, I think we can have a lot more closer scoreboard as we're going over to, trying to get who can go to the LAN finals. And I think that just makes things even more exciting and interesting to watch.
Of course, and we even increased the LAN final prize pool by $4,000 as well. So there's even more to play for and even more motivation to get to that grand final and play for it. Of course, $60,000 in total for prizes across the year. And these guys hopefully motivated to continue playing on. Even teams like Heresy, which are struggling to find the prize money and find the points, hopefully still motivated with the chance that, hey, one good run, secure yourself a bunch of points, and even just the experience is worth it. So there you go. That was our first two best of threes. Brazuca's Heresy. Brazuca's taking it... in fact, I should show you the brackets instead. There you go. Brazuca's taking it 2-0. Suomi taking it 2-0. That means that Brazucas and Suomi will face off in the semis. And that will be next Saturday at 14 GMT.